Welcome back to the second video in my creating a canal river scene. At the end of the last video I'd poured in the first bottle of realistic water and I was waiting for it to set. It has set, and there's two things I've realised. One I was pretty sure about anyway, that I hadn't got enough. Just one bottle was nowhere near enough. It didn't cover the gravel at the edge at all. So I've now purchased another couple of bottles, so we'll see how that does. And the other thing was that it had set pretty clear. There were still bits of it to set, but most of it had set and the milkiness had started going. But what was clear was that it was too clear and it wasn't going to look very realistic, to be honest, because it showed that it was very shallow. And of course this sort of water is usually not clear anyway, it's fairly mucky and brown. So what I decided to do was I bought some earth undercoat and some green undercoat from Woodland Scenics, mixed a combination of the two with water, thinned it down about 2 to 1, and I've just this minute painted it on, so it looks a lot better. I mean, I'm not sure whether you can actually see it in the video, but it does look more murky and green. So I'll wait till that's dried and then I'll pour in another bottle of realistic water and let you know what's happened then. So I'll do another video at that stage, so see you in a while. Okay, just poured in the second lot of realistic water. What I should do now is see how this sets and decide whether to paint it and then put in the last lot, or just put in the last lot. We'll see. Come back when this is set. This is the latest update in the canal river scene. I've now put a second a bottle of clear realistic water in. I'm not particularly happy at the moment because what I did, I changed the location of the boat. For instance, it was going to be just here, so I didn't paint the bottom. It was just clear. I thought that would get covered up in the process, but basically when I put the first bottle of realistic water in, it dried really clear and the bottom didn't look that realistic. So I thought, well, we'll solve that. So I painted the whole top layer of that coat with a mixture of earth undercoat and green undercoat from Woodland Scenics, and the whole scene, I think you saw it in an earlier part of the video, was sort of a mucky greeny brown colour. I then put over the second bottle of realistic water thinking that that colour would float in the middle so it would, you know, cover up anything. But in fact something weird's happened. It seems to have sort of dissolved in the water. I'm not sure if it shows up in the video, but it's not sort of a solid underneath colour now, it's all smeary. So it sort of, I don't know, the realistic water sort of lifted the colour off. I mean, you can see that mainly here. I mean, that should have been green brown, but you can actually see the baseboard underneath. So while it was drying, I tried a little experiment. Well, just after I first put it in, I'm not sure if it shows up here, but I mixed some of the paint mixture and water in the wet realistic water as it was drying, and that patch there, I tried it, and also within the lock, and that's really the effect I want. So the next bottle, which hopefully is the last bottle, I might actually mix up a lot of the paint, drop it in the top and swirl it around with a stick, which is what I've done in those two locations, and see what happens. I mean, the effect looks quite good then. It looks like murky water but still glossy and reflective, so we'll see what happens. Well, I've now put in the last bottle of realistic water, and I've tried mixing up some earth colour, earth undercoat and green undercoat from Woodland Scenics with some water, and I've mixed it in, as I said I was going to do, into the realistic water while it's still drying, and we'll see what the effect is. Doing small patches of it, it looked alright, but I'm not sure what it's going to do for a large amount. Something strange is happening actually. I mean, for instance, in this lock that was all green, I mixed it up all green how I wanted it, and it now seems to be separating. I'm not sure where the actual colour goes, but we shall see. What I might do is let this dry a bit more. I mean, it's got a bit thicker down here, which is where I wanted it to be anyway, because I didn't like the bottom. So I mean, if it dried like it is now, that wouldn't be too bad, but we'll see. I might see what it's like when it's starting to get a bit tacky and see if I can add some more anywhere I want to at that stage. But at the moment we'll see what it's like. I mean, I can always recover it if I wanted to, because I just buy another bottle of realistic water and pour that in. So there's always a way out, but I'm hoping to get away with this being the last bottle. Anyway, we shall see. See you in a little while. Oh well, this is the finalised part of the canal scene. Obviously there's some work to do, adding figures. I've got to source the correct looking figures to do, steer the boats, etc. But actual work on the water side of it, I think this is pretty much it. I might put some more trees, and obviously I've got another big bridge to go across it, and I'll probably wait till I've got that in before I finalise everything with the scenery. But I'm really pleased with the water effect. On the last application I did what I said I was going to do. I mixed in the water, the paint mixture, Woodland Scenics Undercoat, earth and green colour, mixed them together to make a sort of greeny brown mess. Mixed it 50-50 with water, and then pretty much straight after I've poured in the water, realistic water, when it was all still wet and milky, I stirred in the paint mixture, and it was a bit strange really, because in a lot of areas it just disappeared. It went back to milky, and I wasn't sure really what was happening. I was hoping that the paint was actually settling to the base of the layer below it, but and a couple of places where I wanted it really thick and dark, I mixed in a bit more, and that, as it thickened, it gradually stayed. But now what's happened, it's especially in the area here with the lock. Also the lock, I mixed in a few bits of scenery, the turf, the Woodland Scenics turf mixture, to make it behind the gate so that it gets trapped there. So that's given a bit of texture to the water just in the lock. And if you look at the water in the lock, it's always messy. I haven't actually put any rubbish in, but I put some weeds, as I say, where they would be trapped behind the gates even when they're open. But this is really nice now. It looks like deep mucky water, pretty much like a canal or river is. It's not see-through. The only places it is see-through, which is really nice, is on the edge where it's shallow. It gets a bit clearer and you can see the mud bottom, as it were, and some weeds. I've also, for a bit of effect, I've put in, using water effects, I've put in a slipstream from the boat that's powering away. It's probably speeding, but it's a work boat rather than a leisure boat, so it's got a bit of an excuse. I've added a fisherman here with the little ripples where the line's being pulled up, and also a canoe. I mean, my wife and I go canoeing a lot, so I found a little canoe and painted it the same colour as ours, and the paddles the same colour, and painted them powering along. So all in all, I'm pretty pleased with it. It's come out really well. So for the time being, that's the canal finished. The only other updates I've done, I've just laid a bit of this track here across the bridge, haven't ballasted it at all, and I've added an extra point in just over here just to give a couple of sidings here. Can't have enough sidings, I can always find things to fill them with. So that's about it as far as the update's concerned. As I say, really pleased with the canal, the way it's come on. As the video on the last part of the creating the river scene hasn't been that long, I decided just to put a quick session of running one train round my track just to show you the setup. I won't call it a running session because I haven't done any scenery, and just seeing a train run around a bear track's not much fun, but I'll just start my class 43 intercity. I'll run around the track and show you the track, or the underneath running track. Well, that's about it. Thanks again for watching. Any comments, please feel free to leave, and also feel free to subscribe if you wish. Many thanks. Bye for now.